Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics episode 17. Today we're making something like this. All of this has been made in After Effects and all of this has been made from scratch. I will show you step by step how you can make it yourself. Okay, here we are in After Effects. We're going to start off with a new composition as always. 1280 by 720 or whatever you want. I'm making it 30 frames per second and I'm going to make it 30 seconds, which is way too long, but that is quite alright. We can always cut it down afterwards. It's way easier than making new stuff. So this is going to be renamed here. You could have named it in the beginning, of course. This is going to be our ball. What is it? Well, just ball. That's good enough. We're going to first create a ball, and it's going to be very simple because we're going to just put in a layer, new, solid. There you go. We're going to pick some kind of gray color. That would be good enough. Just make sure it's not too light. Yeah, I could actually make it a little bit darker. There you go. Don't make it too light because then the effect won't work and yeah, you're kind of not in a good spot. We're going to grab the ellipse tool, make a mask. Hold, I believe it's only shift, but I'm not actually sure. Let me see. Yeah, if you hold shift, you get an equal circle. We don't really need it in this case, but whatever. We're going to type it in, so that's why we don't need it. And we're going to make it exactly 100 diameter, which means this is supposed to be 590 to 690, and top to bottom is going to be 310 to 410. And yeah, if you selected it with something else, with like the pen tool or something like that, just reset to ellipse, and there you have your ball. So yeah, it's as easy as that. There's really nothing to it. Then we're going to duplicate this. No, we're not going to duplicate it. We might as well just make a new one. New solid. This one's going to be white, so pure white in this case. And this one is also going to get a circle on it. This one does not have to be in the middle, so no worries if you aren't typing it in. It's just going to be okay. Just hang on, just hit the mask path. There it is. Or well, clicking M would actually give you that. So we're going to start with it in the middle, I guess. Now we're going to go to the mask here and then just feather it out. So feather, just make it a few pixels. I don't know how many. This seems to be good. And now we're going to drag it over to the side because it looks better if it's not entirely in the middle. So just click mask path or just select everything like this. Yeah, and just put it over here. So as you can see, it has a little bit of an overlap here. We're going to go into the original mask, so the gray solid one, and we're going to just copy paste it. So Control C, click the mask, Control V, and then we're going to hit intersect here, and that way it cuts off the little bit that's not inside the original mask, and that way we have a perfect circle. So this is going to be our ball. I'll show it to you what it looks like. It's supposed to look, yeah, more of a 3D thing than if you didn't have the shadow, well, the light source on it. So we're going to use that in our next one. You can, by the way, make this just a much smaller composition if you're bothered by it in, well, the next few things. Because, well, it's going to be big and we're only using a small part. New composition, this one is going to be the floating balls. I don't know what to call it. I really don't. It doesn't matter. As long as you know what's what, then it's all good. Let's first make a background. Yeah. So we're going to go to Layer. Oh, click your composition. New Solid. There you go. Make it black or whatever color you prefer. It's not going to be this color. We're going to put an effect on it, and the effect, so make sure you have your layer selected. The effect is going to be called Generate 4-Color Gradient, and we're going to find kind of a happy peppy color, which is kind of a color that that would fit the nice colors of the balls, because we want everything to be nice and shiny and just awesome sauce friendly colors. So I'm going to pick all kinds of greenish yellow colors. And yeah, if you want to pick other colors, feel free to do so, of course. Let me grab something that actually doesn't quite fit. I guess, well, we can make something that fits. So if you don't like the setup, you can drag them around, the colors. I personally don't like it when they're super, well, everywhere the same, like symmetrical. I like it when there's a little bit of chaos going on. And they will mix the colors. You can adjust it a little bit by getting the blend up or down or whatever. Yeah, I personally just find it enjoyable if there are actually different colors everywhere. So 100 or less for me, but yeah, that's all up to you, of course. If I don't want to have any blend, well, I have 5 then I have the most distinct coloring. So I'm going to go for that. And if you want it somewhat darker, either select darker colors or just hit the opacity and just make it darker. Both can work depending on what you want, of course. And now we're going to import from our project the ball, and this is just the first one. So on the ball, we're going to put an effect, and that effect is called curves. And that is our way of coloring them in. So drop it on top of your ball, and here you can first of all, this one RGB is for changing the color overall. So this makes it darker. Well, basically it makes all of the colors just darker, and this one makes it lighter, so more white. So overall, that's the color of your ball that you can adjust. Then we can also do the different channels. So let's say I want more red in this one. Make sure you don't do this, because it blocks out the top and it can look really nasty on some colors. So try to drag it such that it doesn't actually hit the top. It can go close to the top, but it all depends on what you want, of course. If you're like, well, that's exactly what I was looking for, the effect of having meshed out colors like that, then yeah, just go for it. But the colors, if you don't hit the top and the bottom, just look a little more, well, alive, let's call it. And for most of the things, it actually looks the best. So we're going to create a red ball, apparently. I just dragged the things a little bit, and it's going to be a red ball. There you go. So what are we going to do? We're going to make some kind of just movement with this guy. So hit P for position, go to time 0 with your time indicator, hit the stopwatch and set it to wherever you want it to start. So this one is going to start over here. Yeah, and it's going to be shot upwards. So let's do that. Let's go to yeah, a little bit less. Let's go to like here. Well, 2 seconds, I guess. So in 2 seconds, it should normally travel the entire screen. So knowing that, we can actually set our, oh, that's the wrong one. We can actually set our position here to like over here. So this is now a straight line. That is not how things fly unless you're in 0 gravity, but we're not in 0 gravity. So we're going to use this point here, use the convert vertex tool to create something with these handles, and they're very hard to see. I hope that they actually adjusted that in future things. This is CS4, by the way. Yes, I have a very old version. And make sure that the last point doesn't have the handles. And you can see that because, well, if you have the handles, you might have noticed it kind of runs this strange way. You can see that it runs up, and then you expect it to go like that. And it in fact runs to the bottom and then goes upward. So just turn it off on the destination. That way you get a nice smooth path, and you can of course adjust that with the handle if you want it to be higher, or yeah, whatever. You can all make it up as you go, and you can play it, and then whoa, the ball travels, it's awesome, and then it flies off screen. Yeah, that's all good. If you're satisfied with this, then we're going to just make another one. Just Control D on your ball, or just go to your project file and import a new ball. That's also cool. Anyway, what we're going to do is put the curves back on there. So the curves is still selected, so there you go. And we're going to make a new color, because obviously we already have red. You don't want another red. And yeah, you can do this straight from the other one as well. So I'm going to make it a little bit of the opposite color. So red is going to go down now, and it's more of a greenish color now. Green ball. I'm only going to do a few. You can do as many as you want. More balls make the thing just more enticing, more beautiful. And it also makes your time that you spend on it quite a bit larger. So hit P for position. Once again, make or hit the stopwatch at time 0, and then just place it wherever you want that to go. This one is going to go over here, and it's going to obviously intersect with the red one. So just find a spot where you want them to hit each other. So let's say over here. Then just pick up your green one. You can actually lock this layer if you were having trouble, and the background layer. So now you can only drag this one. Let's say we want to hit them like this. Well, we can hit them in all spots except on the other side. That would make a really strange trajectory. But we can do it if you make it kind of loop, or well, kind of arc over it. I guess you could do it. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go with this. And I'm going to make this into more of the path that you would expect. There was already a handle on it, so that means that there's also a handle on this one. So turn off the destination once again, turn on the original, and then depending on how fast this guy is traveling, you should add more or less of a curve on it if you want to make it, well, realistic, because obviously gravity takes some time to take effect. So we're going to do it like this. But as you can see, or not, the speed on this one is very low, because in the same amount of time that the red one travels like 2/3 of the screen, this one only does 1/3 of the screen. So we can actually drag this 0 point forward to about here, and you can see that the distance between, let me zoom in. Oh no, that doesn't actually zoom. The distance between these little dots will change if you drag this around here. Now there become more, and now there are less. And the bigger the distance, the bigger the speed, because, well, every dot is one frame. And therefore, if we want to have similar speeds, we have to have similar dots. So if you select this one, oh, I can't select it because it's locked. If we select this one, you can see the distance between the dots on both of them. So now they're about equal. So now they have the same speed. If you're like, well, that is not precise enough for me, then you can in fact go to the graphs, which are over here, graph editor, and just select the one that you want. So yeah, you have to undo it or unlock it. Just select the positions that you want and hit this one, and then you see what the actual value is. 750 pixels per second. And the other one, so the green one, if we zoom in on that, it is 893. So it's a little bit higher. First point. And then we're going to drag it down or away or towards whatever until it says 750. 700. So a little bit out. And there it is, 734. Yeah, 760. That's good enough. So now they have the same speed. It's as easy as that. If you don't want that, if you want one of them to have higher speed, you can of course also do that. It's all about just dragging the points, well, the time and the distance, and it's easy enough. Anyway, what happens over here, they're going to bounce. The red ball is probably from, well, seeing the angle, is probably going to bounce that way, and the green one is going to bounce that way. So let's first start with the red one. So our position, we're going to see where the hit takes place. That is over here. We're going to keyframe our position, and then the one that's all the way behind this, all the way over here, so the original target, is now cancelled because it's not going to travel towards the target anymore. So just go a few frames into the future. It doesn't matter how many for now, because we're going to adjust that in a moment. And just place it in a new spot where you think that either the next hit is going to happen or it's going to fall off screen. So let's make another hit, and the other hit is going to be over, let's make it a little bit lower, over here. And it's going to hit another ball here. So we're not nearly done yet, but yeah, we're going to take the Convert Vertex tool, once again remove the handle so that we have a sharp tap on the other ball, because it would look weird if that's like braking slowly and then slowly turning the corner. No, we want that to abruptly change directions and speeds. So once again, now it has a higher speed than it initially had. So if you drag out the timeline, it will actually become shorter. So at this point it will have similar speed, but we want it to be slower. So yeah, there you go. Dragged it out a little bit. It's as easy as that, but we want it to be somewhat of an arc, because as I said, straight lines don't exist in nature. So realistic gravity will not allow that. So we're going to go to the point where it actually connected. That's this one. Now we're going to go one frame forward, page down, and we're going to set a new position keyframe. So we get a new one of these blocks, these little blocks here. And it doesn't have handles because we removed all the handles. So add handles to it. And first of all, drag this handle. Oh, it's over here. Yeah, as I said, it's very hard to see sometimes. Just drag it towards the point. It doesn't matter if you do this or whatever. Just place it close to the point, then zoom out again and make a nice arc. So the arc that you would like. Since the speed has gone down, the arc should be, well, better. Less flat, basically. And now once you've done that, we're going to zoom in and we're going to align this line. So you can see that this is a point, this is a point, this is a point. So the next point is going to be over here somewhere. But it is in fact over here. So drag it upwards in this case until you actually meet, well, that. So until the line that you're making actually makes sense. So the arc that you created has to end up in this point. And yeah, it doesn't have to be super precise, but just take a moment to make that. So what happens now is if we run it, we're going to see that it actually bounces off. And it's a realistic bounce because that's how things bounce. They immediately change direction. And yes, if you zoom in even further into the timeline, which we're not capable of doing, but you would see deformation of this ball, and it would take some time, and they would like mash into each other and then expand again. We're not going to do all that. It's not going to be noticeable anyway, so yeah, might as well not do it then. So we're going to go to the green ball then. We're going to set a position point there as well in the next frame. And we're going to set, well, a new position for that. This one's going to bounce over here somewhere. So just take a new position on your timeline and just drag it away. I don't know. This one's, let's assume that it's going off screen, and it's going off screen over here somewhere. Let's put it out of the frame. So it's just outside of the frame. Once again, we are going back to this point where, well, we just had the bounce, and we're going to set a new keyframe. Well, we already did that. And after, hang on. Oh, it has two on the same spot, of course. So yeah, you need to make the end first, or you get this. Otherwise, now I can just drag it out. It's not too much of a problem. Anyway, the second keyframe is going to have handles. We're going to first put this handle on top of the point, or close to the point at least. and then the second one is going to be used to make a nice arc. Since this one is going to have very little speed remaining, we're going to make it a very strong arc, as you can see. So it's going to bounce, it's going to then fall down, well, very hard. And once again, line up this point, or your original point I should say, with the thing. So as I said, it's going to have very little speed, which means that it has to have a lot of keyframes here, a lot of these little balls. So just drag it out until you're like, okay, that's good enough. This is a little bit too much, but yeah, something like that would be good. I don't know, just do it what you think is correct, and then adjust the position once again to match your new keyframe distance, because now the distance is only this big. So we need to be close to our original point to actually match that. It's not going to be very noticeable if you mess it up by like 20% or less. Yeah, the speed is a little bit too low, as you might have noticed. It just doesn't drop the right amount in the amount of time. You can kind of compare it with the other ball. They should be similar, although not the same. Actually, the green ball should fall a little bit quicker because it got hit on the top part, so it gets some speed downwards. But we'll see. So it needs to, as I said, it needs to fall a little bit quicker than the red one. So just drag it out until you find a spot where it's actually good. So once again, the hit, and then it will fall down. So yeah, once you're done, so once you're like, okay, this is about right, we're going to introduce a new ball, and we can keep doing that all the time to make more and more and more intricate, well, animations. The thing is, because you made your ball prior to everything else, so it's in a different composition, if you change something on the ball, it will change on all of them, which is exactly the way we want it, except for the color, because we're doing the color locally. Here, there you go, curves on it. And then we're going to make this into a blue ball. Take some extra blue. Actually, it's already blue, so we don't actually have to do anything about it. I'm going to take out a little bit of green and a lot of red, because, well, it's not a lot of red in blue, unless you want something more purplish. No, I like this one. So yeah, bright colors are good. If you want to do somewhat more, well, like I'm doing currently, that's cool too. And then you can also go to the RGB tab and just say, no, I like this color, but I like it a little bit lighter. So yeah, you can do that as well. So let's make this a little bit lighter. You can do that with the others as well. Just drag it up. Don't hit the ceiling, because it will block out a lot of the light colors. And you want that to be a little more subtle mostly. Unless you like that. Here, if you like it, then you like it. That's the way it is. Anyhow, this ball is now going to get some position on it as well. And it's going to hit, we said that, it's going to hit the red ball over here. Because, no, hang on, the red ball is this one over here. So the red ball will stop moving here, so we might as well just place it right here. So we're going to zoom in a little bit. You can use the arrow keys to fine-tune this, and you can actually fine-tune it pretty well. So yeah, you can see where they meet, and now they're just about hitting. So yeah, the arrow keys can be used for that. This is going to be a hit exactly from the bottom, but that doesn't mean that the movement comes from the bottom. Set a keyframe for the position, go back a little, and set a keyframe for the position, or just, well, drag it out. It's all good. We're going to make it come from the bottom left. And because it comes from the bottom left, we can actually let it go wherever we want. Well, we're going to have to make it either travel to the bottom right or to the top right if we give it enough speed. So depending on how far in or how fast our ball is moving, we can realistically make it keep traveling upwards. Of course, it has to deviate because, well, that's the way it is after a bounce. But yeah, you don't have to say, well, because it bounces like that, it now has to go downwards. No, you can all change that because, well, the speed is an important factor. So this one has handles on it. I don't know if you can see them, but they're very small. So we're going to take them off. Why is it not allowing me to do that? Well, whatever. Anyhow, we'll be able to remove them now, I guess. Yeah, there you go. So this one has one on it as well, but it's not changing. So we're going to just place it on a new spot now, and I want it to go over here and then move off screen in the future. Yeah, I don't know where exactly, but yeah, it's going to break a little bit because, well, it's going to give some of its energy to this ball, which means that it's slower now. Oh, we're actually making a new point. And what I want is, I want it to be actually visible in the animation. So here the distance is quite huge, and here the distance is a lot smaller. So once again, we're going to go, once we chose a destination, we're going to go one frame into the future from the bounce, and then we're going to set a new keyframe. We're going to take our, oh, it's already there, our convert vertex tool to make these handles, I wanted to say, but it already has handles. And since it's not going to meet anything after the bounce, we're going to just have a straight up arc. So yeah, once again, just pick up your point, make this one go to 0, and line up your ball with the keyframe, or your keyframe with the ball, with the arc, I guess. So once you've done that, you have another ball done. So let's see if it's a realistic arc. So yeah, currently it changes some direction, but not enough. So we can do two things. We can change all of this back stuff, or we can just say, well, it's just coming in from a different angle. And that would actually make a difference, because now you can see that it actually changes direction. If you're still not satisfied with it, you can also modify the red ball. We haven't done anything to the red ball yet, so we might as well just say, well, the red ball is going to move over there. And that way our bounce is actually legit. So we can actually say that because it's not hitting straight on, it might go that way. So it does change directions, it does lose speed, so everything is physically relatively okay. Well, once you fix all that, once you're like, okay, this is what I want with it, just go to the red ball and change or set a new position later on in time, and the red ball is going to go over here somewhere. It has to bounce somewhere, so yeah, whatever. Then one frame into the future from the hit. Once again, set one of these position points. Once again, convert it to have handles. And once it has handles, drag the back one into the point, and the one where it's traveling towards can be used to create a nice arc. So once you have a nice arc, you once again align it with the points so that this distance is equal to this distance. So yeah, the distance to the next point is the same as the distance to the previous point, and the angle is kind of okay. And then you can adjust the points if you want to. You can also adjust the amount of time it takes for it to get there. It's all relatively easy. You just have to drag one of the points, and then yeah, that's all. So once we're done here, let's see what we actually have. So we have our first bounce, then we have our second bounce, and it actually looks relatively realistic considering the amount of time we spent on it, because we spent virtually no time on it, but you just have to understand what's happening. So the bounce has to be sharp. If the bounce is not sharp, it will look messy. And then afterwards it has to travel in an arc, because otherwise it just looks weird. Plus, if you just look at where this is, well, hitting. So this one comes from over here, this one comes from over here, so obviously this one is not going to go to the left. That would look weird. So as long as you go to the right, you can go to the bottom right, you can go to the top right, you can go straight to the right. As long as you have a curve in it, it will look realistic. I can actually change one just to show you. So let's take the, the blue one. Let's completely change where it's going. So let's say it's now going over here. That means that we have to address the arc a little bit, because the arc looks completely ridiculous. We also have to adjust this maybe to fit again. But now let's just do it again. Let's see what happens and whether it's still realistic. So the first hit and the second hit, and you can see it's just as realistic. It doesn't even matter where you put things. As long as you just have the hit correct, it's all good. So yeah, just enjoy making balls and, well, just these nice animations. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And if you have something that you made with this, just leave me a comment. I'd like to see it. So if you can upload it somewhere, that would be awesome. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.